Okay, I'm trying something a little different because it's such an easy Leet code question tonight. So I'm gonna live stream me doing it, but I already started it. It is so easy though. Okay, so today's date is 10/30/2025, and the Leet code problem of the day is 3289. It's titled "The Two Sneaky Numbers of Digitville." In the town of Digitville, there was a list of numbers called nums containing integers from 0 to n minus 1. Each number was supposed to appear exactly once in the list, however, two mischievous numbers sneaked in an additional time, making the list longer than usual. As the town detective, your task is to find these two sneaky numbers and return an array of size 2 containing the two numbers in any order so peace can return to Digitville. Okay, so example 1 has input nums 0110. The output should be 01 because those are the two numbers that have repeated in the array nums, and they're not supposed to appear twice in the array. So the numbers 0 and 1 each appear twice in the array. Example 2, 2 and 3. You can see that there's two 3's and two 2's. So you return array 2, 3. And for example 3, you have two 5's and two 4's. So you return an array with 4 and 5. The constraints are like 2 to 100. Wonder what do you do if, now I wonder what do you do if there's only two numbers in there? Because I suppose they would be the same number in that case. The input generator such that nums contains exactly two repeated elements. Two. It seems like the constraint should be 4. Uh, oh, nums length, yeah, n plus 2. Okay. Yep. The constraint is at least 4 to 104 numbers or so. All right. And it can be between the digits, the numbers can be from 0 to n. So that means nums length could be n plus 2. It could be as much as 102 to 103 or so. So anyway, as you can see here, I started working on it, and my thought was like, make a frequency array. For some reason, whenever I can use a frequency array, I like to do that. I don't know, it just makes sense for some reason. So anyway, that's digging into how long to make the frequency array, because if you're going to make a frequency array, then you need to know what the range of the numbers that could be here in order to make it work. And generally you would only use a frequency array if it's kind of a small range of numbers or items of some kind. So I think n plus 2, and n can be from 0 or 2 to 100. So I think 102 would cover it. But, you know, just to be safe, let's make it like 104 for fun. Okay, hopefully that'll be enough. Unless I'm not thinking about something right here, which is possible. This is a very easy problem. Then you have your sneaks array. That's the array that I'm going to return. The one with duplicates. Then I like to use a simple for each loop when I can or when it makes sense. Because you're not always able to do that because sometimes you need the index. The index is helpful to solving the problem in some way. So you end up needing to do a for I loop. I'm not sure which. The for I loop, where you use an index I. You typically use index I. I do. Anyway, so for each into nums, let's see if I remember how to do this. Freak. Actually, I know another way to do this that would be pretty easy too. Would be to sort the array, and then the duplicates would be right next to each other. So you could do it without doing this. Is all I'm saying. That'd be another way to do this. That would be really easy. And you'd only have to go through the for loop once. But then, you know, you're still kind of going through a for loop of that sort. So it's still kind of the same. I don't know. I like using frequency array. It's that simple. So frequency sub num plus plus frequency sub num plus plus, I think is what you would want to do. Does the plus plus go in there? Maybe it does. I guess it's been a while since I've done a frequency array problem. We'll find out anyway when we go to try it. Okay. Then you'd have another for loop where you go through each int num and frequency. Can I use the same int num? I'm not sure. I think so though. We will find out. Does it go outside or inside? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think outside. Okay, anyway, int num of frequency. Okay, here we go. If num, let's just say equals 2, then sneaks sub, I guess we'll make it I here so we can have an index for sneaks. Okay, I don't think that's the right place to put that. Can I put it up here? I think so. We'll find out. Oops, 6 of I equals and yeah, no, 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 I've got to go. I'm using the index this time. Yeah, I gotta use the index this time because I want the index. Oops, should have saved just use that. Anyway, in less than I don't know, 103. I think so. Oh wait, I don't know 4. It's not have equals. Let's just put 104 instead of. Oh wait, yeah, why not? Let's do that. Let's do num's length plus 2. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Oh gosh. We're going to go ahead and make a variable for num's length in. That way it doesn't have to do the whole more than it needs to each time. Let's see, is that right, or does it need the little thingy there? Int n equals num's length. So frequency is going to be n plus 2. And then this will also be n plus 2. And that should be okay. We will find out. Okay. Then we have to increment the index for this so that we get the 2 numbers. And then we can return sneaks. And will it work? I'm not sure. Negatory. Okay. I already used variable I. Okay. Let's make this J. Oh gosh. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah. Yeah, you can't declare a variable up here and then use it in your for loop. This is like a global variable, I think it might be called. And this variable only happens in this for loop. But at any rate, this should help. Okay. Oh. Right. Yeah, I switched it from a for each num int num to the index one because I want to use the index of the frequency array. So I did forget to change that. Jeez. I am messing up a lot for such an easy question. Okay. So frequency sub I equals 2, then this, yeah, see I gotta change it over there too. Got num over there. So we'll just copy and paste that. Yeah. Now I have a little more confidence that this could work. Is there anything we don't need here though for doing it this way? Alright. This is a very easy problem though. Index to out of bounds for length 2. Right. So here's that situation where huh. What happened? Okay. 2 out of bounds for length 2. Wow, such an easy problem. I'm having so much difficulty. Okay. Alright. I get it. Jeez. I think the problem might be like I think there's a better way to do this, but let's see if let's get that out of the way. J equals 1. And break. Guess. Is that gonna fix it? Is that gonna fix it? I mean, there's got to be a smarter way to do that, but let's see if that's what the issue is. Oh my gosh. I got them all wrong. Oh no. I'll put 2, 2. Okay. Alright. We about got it now. Okay. Yeah, not frequency sub I, just I. You want the index. There we go. Now I think we might have it. I can't say. No, jeez. We're still getting some wrong. Oh my gosh. Well, it worked for that one. 0, 0. Doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, I just got done eating a bunch and I did a big walk. I got all through my daily achievement goals. And now, it's cold out. And now I'm tried to do a live because it's easy and I don't know. It's ended up being way more difficult than I expected. Well, for these two, it seems to not be working. So let's see what's happening here. So why isn't it doing anything for these other two? Alright, let's take a look at it. 2, 3. Alright. Normally, I used to use IntelliJ to figure out what's going wrong with the code. But I think you can do little write outs in here and see what's happening. So, like, I think it's like this. I haven't done this in a while. Print. Oh, gosh. Something like that. I don't think that's right, though. Yeah, it's not. Alright, I'm going to ask AI how to do a system out on an array like that. Yeah, maybe I should just do the array sort and do it the other way. Okay, not array to string. It's arrays to string with a big S. Oh, I was close. Huh. Alright. I was very close on that. Let's see. Oh, not there. Up here. Wow. I really was close on remembering how to do that. Nope, guess not. What did I do on that? Okay. System.out print arrays. Okay, okay. Yeah. Arrays. Did that do it? did it. Okay. So what are we getting here? 1, 1, 2, 2. Huh. Zeros. Oh, okay. Huh. And then output 0, 0. So that part was working though. Because there's two twos, which is arrays are indexed at 0. So like 0, 1, 2, and 3. There's two twos and two threes. That's what this is telling me. And it should output these two indexes, 2 and 3. Wonder why it's not. So that part's working. This part's working real good. Alright. Let's figure out what's going on here. The frequencies of I equals 0, or I mean 2, and sneaks of J equals I. I don't understand why that's not working. I'm really surprised I remembered how to do this system.out print the arrays to strings so close. Oh gosh, that's wild. Okay. Well, let me double check while I still have that to make sure it's working for both of these. Okay, so this one, it should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, 4 and 5. Yep, yeah, it ain't working. Why on earth? Oh, I think I got it. No? No? Alright, let's look this over. Okay, frequency sub I equals 2. Then sneak sub J equals I. And if J equals 1 breaks, otherwise it goes out of bounds. Yeah. Another way you could do this is with a little while loop inside this for loop instead of doing if break. But I think we'll just keep this. Why isn't it working then? Oh. Because it makes the frequency correctly. Frequency equals 2. Huh. Oops. Yeah. Let's undo that. That's a control Z. Okay, so why isn't this working? I really don't know. I don't know what to system out to even find out really. But we'll try some. Okay. This time we'll just try printing out like frequency sub I each time to see if it's even going into the loop. I guess I had an extra parenthesis there. Yeah. Okay. So now it just says 1 and 1. So, okay. So, and then it breaks. What would I do? J equals 1, then it breaks. Why is it only going like 2 into it? Num's length plus 2. Why is it only going 2? Let's see if anybody's in chat. Trying to help me. Nope, nobody's trying to help in chat. It's such an easy problem too. Oh my gosh. Okay. What about the other one? Same thing. There's only one of the first 2 numbers and then it quits. Why isn't it going all the way through it? Okay, I see now. Duh. Jeez. Okay. Oh my gosh. Duh. That was a real duh one there. So anyway, what's happening is it does J++ like every time. So it's only doing the first two elements. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, let's try this. I think we got it. Wow. Yeah, programming is it's a brain teaser. It's like everything's some kind of riddle. Oh gosh, it's so funny. I got it now. Okay. I think this is going to work. I have total confidence that this is going to work. But my goodness, it was so. Why was it so hard to figure that out? Oh my gosh. See, I tried doing this if without the parenthesis, but really it needed the parenthesis because I started adding other junk that had to do with that if. So it was doing J++ on the first two elements, whether they equaled 2 or not. And therefore, it was just checking the first two indexes of the frequency array. But that turned out to be okay for the first example because the numbers were 0 and 1. And they were both ended up being, equal to 2. So it kind of tricked me a little bit there. It didn't help me to realize what was happening fast enough. But yeah, I've got it now. I feel very confident this time. Oh my gosh. That should have been so easy. Uh, but it ended up being pretty difficult for me. I got tricked on that because of that first example. But that's the way Leet code is. Like, like you might solve one of the examples, but it's an example that doesn't make it obvious what's going wrong with the other two examples, maybe. But I got it. And I almost remembered this system out uh, better than I expected. The two arrays one, anyway. This is pretty easy. But anyway, we got it now. Okay. I feel totally confident that this will work. Yeah. Now it does ends on 2 2s every time. And that one was just 2 2s. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. So here we go. Ooh. All right. DCC October. Oh gosh. That's the fun of doing Leet code, though. Oh gosh. That should have been so easy, though. Oh my gosh. All right. All right. So let's see. I'll make it so you can see it better. Anybody wants to. If anybody else gets stuck on it and starts having trouble. But really, you wouldn't have to use this J. Or yeah, I guess you would. Yeah. Hey, there it works. It's 100% solution. You couldn't do it much faster, probably. Much faster than 100%. But yeah, I like using frequency arrays whenever you can. Oh gosh, that was a perfect example of how tricky programming can be, and problem in solving these things is like uh, yeah, I don't know, you have to write everything just right, otherwise there might be some little problem, or you might not have the little parentheses set up right and be goofing you up. And it took me a while to figure out what was wrong there. Jeez. But I figured it out. So that was good. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt to solve it by sorting the array for an extra challenge, and just to see how it performs compared to using this frequency array. So that's 100% on runtime and 27.53% on memory. Okay, so oh gosh, let's see. Shouldn't need any of this. Oops. I'll go ahead and leave that other junk. But okay, how do you do that? Arrays dot sort nums. Okay, so that should sort it. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. I'm gonna use this for loop. Okay, is that okay? Should be. Okay, so now we want to change our if situation. Our if condition. It's not a situation, it's a condition. Okay, so, okay, here's what you want to do. You would want to say, like, if nums sub I equals, oops, I left the S off. See, that'll goof you up right there. If nums sub I equals nums sub I plus 1, and then sneak sub j equals nums sub I, and I think the rest of it would be the same. I think you would need to do that again. Yeah, I think this should work. So this is the other way I was saying to do it, because you're sorting it right here. This like built-in library method, or I'm not sure if that's the exact correct nomenclature for that, but this sorts the nums array. So now the nums array is sorted, so the duplicate numbers are going to be right next to each other. So if you have a num sub I that's equal to num sub I plus 1, then that's the duplicate. So you want to set add that to your sneaks array that's too long, length of 2, but you don't want to go beyond that. So okay, so let's try it. Let's just do it in this full screen thing so you can see stuff. Oh gosh, here we go. Yeah, what went wrong? Oh, I accidentally erased my J. I need it. We need the J. Okay. Int J equals 0. We need the J. But I'm foggy free, so I don't smoke the J's. I don't need the J. But this code needs the J. And it totally works. Okay. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so let's see how this performs. How do you think it will perform? How do I think it will perform? Well, I think it's going to be better on memory because you got rid of one array. You got rid of the frequency array. So it's going to be better on memory. I think it will be slower, but it might be the same speed about. I don't know. Now, it'll be slower, but it will be better on memory. That's my prediction. Okay, let's find out. Yep, really way better on memory than the other one, but way slower. And with code, you generally want to be really fast, you know? Like memory, eh. There's situations where memory is important, would be the more important thing. But usually you're going for speed. Usually I try to, I'm more interested in getting the runtime to be the fastest. But there would be situations where you don't care about speed and memory is the key thing, no doubt. Just depends on what you're doing and why you're doing it. All right, here I'll show this code better. There's got to be a better way of doing this. This looks goofy. This if j equals 1, then break. But, you know, it works. It is 100% fast on the first effort. But oh my gosh, that was so funny. Kept goofing up on that. I was really getting like, oh my gosh, what could be causing this? But you do a little like system out to see what's going on, and you can figure out what's going on. You know, dig into it rather than going straight to AI and asking. I think some advice I've gotten from other people though is like if you're doing a medium or a hard or even an easy, and it's just taking you way too long to figure out what's wrong, then just ask AI or look up the answer or something or seek other people's YouTube videos for some help or hints or explanations. And also they have hints in here, but they're not always really helpful or good. But sometimes they can be, you know. They got one hint for this one. Solve the problem without the extra space. We need to think about how many times each number occurs in relation to the index. Hmm. Okay. I'm not even sure what that hint means for sure. I'll leave that to other people to know. And also the discussion. You can find stuff in the discussion that might help you out. Case closed. Yeah. I want more hero villain content here. Oh boy. Come on. programmers should be above the hero villain dynamic. I mean, they're programmers, people that are solving these problems. Maybe they want to be the villain, you know. I don't know, a little bit, you know. I just think that, you know, if you're solving Leet code, you might be a step beyond hero villain dynamics. But it's fun. Whatever works. Yeah. In this case, the um, discussion isn't as helpful to solving it because it's such an easy question that you know they're not really talking about it and trying to suss out the best way to do it. So yeah, when they want to hire you, you get this question. Oh boy. Oh. But sometimes in the discussion, there's some really good discussions of different ways to do a problem. And like sometimes they'll be arguing about trying to use different algorithms and it's pretty funny sometimes. Like sometimes you'll get some know-it-alls in there that are wrong, and then they really get in a good argument when that happens. And yeah, I was messing up that easy problem there. I was really getting stumped on that for a second, for, you know, 5 minutes or something at least. But I did solve it two different ways, the two different ways that I thought would be a good way to solve it. There's other ways you could solve it too beyond that I can kind of think of, but I don't even want to try. These are the two ways that first came to mind for me that were easiest. And Java isn't the easiest programming language to learn. Like you might be better off starting with Python or something for solving Leet codes. Like Python might be one of the easier programming language to solve Leet codes with, but I'm not sure about that. Like I find Python a little annoying because you have to have like a certain number of spaces just right and all this junk. But it has a lot of libraries and has like some simpler, I think they call that syntax, but I don't know. I like Java. That's how I like to solve Leet code. That's my number one way to do it. But Java is similar to C in many ways, like how you do loops and how you do some different things are almost identical in a lot of ways. Not exactly. C is definitely harder because you have to deal with memory management. So Java's easier than some languages, but harder than some as well. But Java's my go-to. That's what I've been studying up on the most and what I use the most. But if you're making like web pages and stuff and making HTML files to make a little web page or a little app or something, you're going to be using JavaScript. But so I do use that quite a bit as well. I have quite a few HTMLs. Let's see if I can find my HTMLs. Are they in temp? Yeah, right here. Yeah, so I was trying to make a family emergency app because my bicycle keeps breaking down on me and tries leaving me stranded. And I don't have a phone. I don't have a phone number. I've got a phone because you have to have a smartphone to go with your smartwatch. But I don't have a phone number, so I can't call people on it. So I thought, well, let's make a Wi-Fi app. Okay, let's see. What was the best version of it? Um, Maybe this one. 'Cause it's the latest in the day. So that might be the final version. Let's see. Yeah, check that out. So even if you don't have a phone number, this app, and it's not hosted on Firebase or nothing. It's just a HTML page right now. But you would click this find Wi-Fi, and maybe you're hurt or something. Like maybe it's an emergency, but you don't need like special services or anything like an ambulance or nothing. Maybe you're hurt a little bit and your bike's broke down or whatever. I don't know. And so this would find the nearest Wi-Fi near you and help you to get onto a a nearby Wi-Fi, even if you don't have a phone number. And oh wait, no, this is the Wi-Fi emergency helper. That's right, I remember that now. I made an app to help you find Wi-Fi so that you can use the emergency app. Okay, so this is the family emergency app. Air initializer. Okay, okay. Maybe that's the wrong one. When you get to the location, you would allow it. They probably wouldn't have to do that. Location found, ready for emergency. And then your loved ones or family has the same app on their phone. And if they know you're out somewhere and you might need help, they could kind of keep an eye on that. And then it would alert them that you need help, was the idea. But yeah, it says works with any Wi-Fi connection, no phone service needed. But yeah, I don't call anybody on the phone or use the phone for anything other than my Samsung Health app, so it doesn't make sense to pay these phone companies even $15 a month when I don't call anybody. And I find that annoying. Like, I think that these phone companies should have a cheaper plan for people that like never call or text anybody or use bandwidth or anything, but they need it for an emergency or something maybe. I mean, I wouldn't even have a cell phone except for the Samsung Health app and the smartwatch because I like to track my physical activity efforts and stuff, and it does a really cool job. Like you can tell it that you're going for a walk, and it'll count how many steps and tell you what your heart rate is, and what zones you're in, and all this junk. And the same for bicycle workouts. And for the bicycle ones, it'll even tell you like how much elevation you've changed. So like if you're getting some hill work in, it'll tell you how much elevation you've conquered. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really impressive. Yeah, these things are amazing. And well, that's it for this for tonight. I think I might play some more Helldivers. I'm well fed, and I drank some coffee when I first woke up about 5, 6, 7 hours ago. Or, nah, more like 12 hours ago, I guess. I don't know. When did I wake up? I don't know. Probably more like 10 hours ago. I think I did wake up around noon or something. But yeah, it's two ways to solve this question. Either use a frequency array or do arrays dot sort, and that's pretty easy. Then this part's pretty much the same. They're pretty similar for both of them. But yeah, I find that frequency arrays are faster usually than using arrays dot sort. And also frequency arrays are really cool to use to solve all kinds of questions and make code faster. Alright, well that's it for this one. I'll probably be back for a Hill Diver stream here in a little bit. Oh wait, this, usually I shut the page first. Okay, yeah, usually I do it this way, don't I? Well, somebody did chat.